So if I was going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, what are the chances Phil Jackson would be an NBA coach again? What would you say? 0. What about scale of 1 to 10, president or general manager?
Well, that's to be determined. I mean, who would have faith in me? I've never done it before. I mean, it would require a lot of faith to turn over an operation like that to someone who hasn't done it. But I think I can have an influence in the game there.
You coached Michael Jordan. You coached Kobe Bryant. Tell us what happened the first time you introduced Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan.
Well, there's a small room off the corridor in Staples, which is called the chairman's room. And I had Michael back there to meet Kobe. Kobe came in. Michael and I were sitting there, and he sat down, and his first words was, "I could beat you one-on-one," is what he said. And Michael said, "You probably can." You know, he just admitted to it. He just diffused it right away.
Why was it important to Kobe to come in and say, "I could beat you one-on-one"? Why do you think he said that?
I think he wanted to establish something right away, you know, that his prowess. And believe me, you know, he certainly had it. One of the games that Michael showed up at, I think he got 6 3-pointers in the first half, just went out and, you know, like, here, I'm going to show you something that's in my toolbox. And
it's like showing off for Dad when he comes to a Little League game, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it was.
I did want to ask you about Michael Jordan. I mean, as exceptionally successful as Michael Jordan was as a player, he's almost been as exceptionally unsuccessful in management and in ownership. Why do you think that is?
Oh, well, I think that's yet to be determined. I think there's so many people who have had to grow into their roles as owners that I'm sure he's going to be there. I just can't imagine him not knowing what talent is, how to put teams together. He's schooled in some of the best programs ever. I mean, North Carolina, he bleeds blue. He's a Tar Heel. They are good basketball knowledge. They know how to build teams. Yeah, I've got every belief that he's going to be fine.
In your book, you at times call Kobe stubborn, hard-headed, selfish. Yeah. You said plenty of complimentary things too, but when the cameras aren't rolling, when he's just by himself, what do you think he's actually going to have to say when he reads all of that stuff?
I don't know. I sent him a book last week because I wanted him to read it firsthand. And, you know, I'm in communication with him all the time, so he knows how I feel about him. He knows I care about him. So I think that's something he recognizes about himself, for sure. But he also recognizes that I care and love him deeply.
Was there anybody that before this book came out you had to call and say, about that chapter?
No, there are a lot of people I called.
Who?
Yeah. I called my daughter Brooke. You know, I had to talk to her about a situation that I remark upon in the book. I talked to Michael, situation that, you know, the retirement, when Mike went to baseball. My brothers, you know, some of the family stuff. So yeah, there are quite a few people that were alerted or, you know, told that, you know, listen, I'm going to discuss this.
You say at one point in the book that when Shaq and Kobe were fighting, you had a dream about spanking Kobe and smacking Shaq. How do you think that line's going to play?
I don't know. You just run it out. Kobe's like a son to me in that way because, you know, he was malleable. I wanted to mold him in a certain way. There was the resistance between that father-son type of relationship that we had.
I know that dream is mostly a metaphor for other things, but if you actually did walk up and smack Shaq, what do you think the fallout would be?
Oh, I think he'd be all right with it. I mean, you know, depending upon the situation, depending upon what happened in the situation.
All right, we've heard from a lot of your former players, from Michael, from Kobe, just your unconventional methods, you know, the burning sage around the locker room, practicing in the dark, the Lakota Warrior items in the team meeting room. And a lot of them have turned out to be very successful and worked and motivated players. What's the most unconventional thing that you did that was a complete and utter failure?
Oh, boy. I had a therapist that was working with me on a situation in which, you know, we had come up against Detroit. There's all this overriding thing about Detroit and their power and their ability to screw a game up into a physical confrontation. So this therapist said, my key is for you to get a pencil, wooden pencil or a chopstick or something like that, and put it behind the molars of your teeth and chew on it and get it firmly gripped in your jaw. And then the players look at each other and they get into this animal mode, and they start challenging each other, and
do they all have the chopsticks?
they're
Okay, great.
you know, they're in that animal mode with you know.
Right.
Okay, so I gave them all, you know, I don't know, 6 or 7 groups, paired them up. They lasted about 1 minute, and they all fell over and they laughed, and they.
I'm trying to picture Michael and Scotty with chopsticks in their mouth, trying to growl at each other.
Well, I mean, it's to build the energy and to build the aggressiveness, you know, that you have to build the animal or
Yes.
whatever it is that's in you.
Didn't quite work so well.
Well, in that situation, it didn't. I dropped that one.